Hey, let me ask you something. Do you want to start flipping houses but think you need a ton of cash or even perfect credit to get started? What if I told you I flipped over 350 homes, I've done over $50 million worth of real estate transactions, and now earn 6 figures a month, all while flipping homes using other people's money? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can secure financing for your first house flip, even if you're starting with zero experience and $0 in the bank. So if you guys want to find out, keep watching. Hey everybody, I'm Geoff Kudlacz, aka Jeffrey Dollars. Welcome back to another video, and I am the creator of the Stealth Wealth Profit System. I've been flipping houses for almost a decade, and in that time, I've flipped over 350 homes. I've done over $50 million in real estate transactions, and now I'm here to share what I've learned to help you crush your first flip and beyond. And if you guys want proof of that, check out my show, Real Estate Riches, where I share the good, the bad, and the ugly, and no bullshit of flipping houses and how you can succeed at it too. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the strategies that help me reach $100,000 a month flipping houses. One of the biggest challenges new investors face is figuring out how to fund their deals. I mean, let's be honest, nobody wants to hear no from the banks or the lenders, but here's the good news. There's actually multiple ways to finance your first house flip without a bank and without a traditional lender. So in this video, I'm gonna break down the top 4 methods that I use in my business, how to choose the right one that's for you, and how to position yourself to secure that crucial very first deal. It all depends on your very first deal, because once you have a lender that you've secured, you can go to them over and over again. So the first type of financing that is very common for new investors funding their house flip is what's called a hard money loan. Now, these are short-term loans designed specifically for you as a real estate investor. So hard money lenders are very advantageous when it comes to funding your deal because they can approve and fund your loan in a matter of days, unlike traditional lenders that may take weeks or even months. And what's also advantageous is that they focus on the deal itself, because approval is based more on the property's value and the potential profit rather than your credit score or your income. They also have very flexible terms that you can negotiate with the lender, but this depends on the very specific lender and the deal. Now, the downsides to hard money lenders are that they come with higher interest rates that range from 8 to 15% that are significantly higher than traditional loans. Now, they come with shorter repayment loans because they are in the business of volume. They need to do as many loans as they can and turn them over within a short amount of time. Now, typically, these loans are 6 to 12 months, which means you must flip or refinance it very, very quickly. Another downside to using a hard money lender is that they can charge what are called points. Now, points are just a fancy word for a fee, which can range from 2 to 5% of the total loan amount. Now, when to use a hard money lender? So hard money loans are ideal if you need very fast funding, or if you have a great deal lined up and you are confident in your ability to flip the property quickly. Now, if you think you're going to be in this property for longer than 6, 12, or even 18 months, a hard money lender might not be the best option. Now, if this isn't the best option, you want to go to option number 2, which is a private money lender. Want to know the secret on how I scaled my business to flipping 5 to 7 homes each and every month and reaching 6 figures in income? I used what's called a private money lender. Some of my best deals were funded by private investors, regular people looking for a better return on their money than they can get in the stock market or other investments. The key is how to pitch these investors and make them want to work with you, as it's going to provide them a better return than they would get elsewhere. So what is a private money lender? Well, a private money lender is any individual, whether it be friends, family, or other local investors, who are going to lend their personal funds to help finance your real estate deals in exchange for an agreed upon return. Now, you can be strategic about this and use this to your advantage, because private money lenders often use very flexible terms. You can often negotiate terms, including the interest rates, the repayment schedule, or any types of fees that are tailored specifically to the deal. It's whatever you can negotiate with your private money lender. That is why it is so powerful. It's also a very powerful strategy because it is very less stringent requirements. They're more focused on the relationship and trust that they have in you as the investor. So if you start to build long-term partnerships, a good experience can lead to repeat investments on future deals. So in my business, I use the same 5 to 10 private money lenders on each and every deal because they know I have the solid experience, I have built up a relationship with them over time, and they know I am going to deliver a return on their investment. Now, there are certainly downsides when it comes to working with private money lenders, and the first one can be, how do you actually find them? So finding lenders can be a downside because it can take time to network and build relationships with private investors. You also have the risk of personal strain because when you get into a situation when you're borrowing from friends or family, it can really complicate relationships if the deal doesn't go as you had both hoped. Here's a rule of thumb. If you can't see a private money lender after a deal goes south at Christmas or some other holiday, don't take money from them. You definitely don't want to be in a situation to where your relationship has been compromised outside of business due to a failed business investment. So another downside to using private money lenders is that they are able to set the rate when it comes to borrowing with their money. So private money lenders may charge rates as high as hard money lenders or even higher depending on what their risk tolerance is. But this is also a pro because you are able to negotiate these terms directly with your private money lender. Private money is an excellent option for those who have very strong networks with high net worth individuals, and you also have the ability to build trust with them. It's also especially useful for deals that require creative financing when you need to fund it quickly. Number 3 on this list of my top ways to fund your very first house flip is a traditional loan, or what's called a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. So if you already own a property, a HELOC can unlock equity to fund your flip. I'm also going to cover when a conventional loan might be best for your strategy. So when you use a traditional loan, you will typically pay about half of what a hard money lender is going to charge you. Typically between right now 6 and 7%, much lower than hard or private money loans. The term is also a lot better because your repayment terms are often 15 to 30 years, giving you much more flexibility versus a hard money loan that is a short-term loan. Traditional loans also have an established process for approval because banks offer very clear and predictable terms with minimal surprises. There's boxes to check. It's very black and white whether or not you are going to get approved. Now, there's always downsides when it comes to traditional loans, and they have a very strict approval process, which means you have to have excellent credit, they have to verify your income, and there's extensive paperwork. The funding can also be slow and take up to 30 or even 60 days or more to get approval and then actually fund the deal, which does not provide you an advantage when it comes to leveraging how you are able to close a deal quickly for cash with a seller. Now, if a traditional loan is not the best way to go, you can also use a home equity line of credit. This allows you to leverage existing equity and access the funds based on the value of your current home. So what's going to happen is that the bank is going to do an appraisal and then typically loan you about 80% of the LTV, the loan to value. This often comes with lower rates, and interest rates are more competitive, making it cheaper to borrow the funds and the equity in your primary residence. You also have the flexibility to draw only what you need and pay interest only on the amount used, so you're not charged full interest like you are with hard money loans. And like with anything, there's a downside to using a home equity line of credit. You risk your home. If the flip goes wrong, you could lose your primary residence or at least wipe out the equity to pay off the loan in case you need to. HELOCs also come with variable interest rates, which means the interest rate can increase over time, impacting your costs either up or down. Now, approval is based on equity. You are limited only to the equity in your property, which may not be enough for larger deals, so you need to evaluate it deal by deal. So you might be thinking, when do I use a traditional loan versus a HELOC? Well, use a traditional loan for a long-term project where timing isn't an issue. So if you found a flip and you don't have a timing issue, go ahead and put a traditional loan on it. Now, HELOCs are great if you already own property and you want to fund a flip with minimal additional risk. And the last one on this list on how to fund your very first house flip is a partnership or a joint venture or a JV. Partnerships involve working with other investors who bring either the money or the experience or other resources to the deal. So when you JV with somebody, you and your partners share the profits, you share the risks, and you also share the responsibilities. Now there's pros and cons to each one, whether it's a partnership or it's a JV. So with either, you share the risk. Your partners split costs. You also reduce all of your financial exposure because you are splitting the responsibility with somebody else. Now, two heads are better than one, so you have access to more capital and more experience. Pooling all of your resources can enable you to take on bigger or even multiple projects simultaneously. Partnerships or JV can also be good because you can bring complementary skills to one another. Your partners can bring expertise or even connections or net worth that you lack. You also gain experience by doing so and following the lead or the partnership of somebody else. Now there's downsides to partnerships and JV because not only are you sharing the risk, but you're also sharing the profit. You're gonna have to split the earnings, reducing all of your personal gain on every house flip that you have a partnership in. Now, not everybody agrees in a partnership, so this has the potential for conflict. You can have disagreements over decisions, over timelines, over profits, and this can put a strain on your partnership. So whenever you are considering going into a partnership or a joint venture with somebody, make sure that you get along with them not only in a business setting, but also on a personal level as well. Now, there's also complex agreements and legal contracts that are essential to avoid disputes, which can increase your upfront costs into the partnership. Now, a partnership is not appropriate for every deal. It's only ideal if you lack the funds or experience or time to handle a deal on your own. Now, it can also be an advantage because if you have no money, you can partner up with somebody who has money and you bring all of the hustle. This is a great way to learn from not only seasoned investors, but people with money and a high net worth as well. So there you have it, guys. Those are my top 4 ways to fund your very first house flip. You don't need money, you don't need experience, and you don't need credit. You just need to get creative. We talked about hard money loans. We talked about private lenders. We talked about partnerships and JV, and also traditional loans and HELOCs. So if you guys found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more insider tips on flipping houses, and also check out my free profit calculator linked in the description. It's my gift to you. It's going to help level up your deal analysis game, I promise. And if you guys got questions, drop them in the comments and I am going to personally respond. And if you have a creative way that you funded your very first house flip, I want to know about it in the comments. I hope this video made your first flip or is going to make your first flip a success, and I'll see you on the next one.